to a new permission. It's a beautiful October day. Farm fields are starting to get harvested. I wrote the farmer back in May seeking permission. Never heard back all summer long, but he called me last week and said crops are out and go ahead. So I've been walking, or will be walking around a cabbage field, cabbage patch. I'm not going to find any kids. But out in this field, there was a wagon shop and a home owned by a J. Skinner, who may have been the wagon smith, since it's right next to the shop. And then kitty corner to that was a schoolhouse, and the same landowner owns that field as well. So let me show you the map here. So I'm parked right there. Now, A. Skinner, probably a relative of J. Skinner, the house was here. That house is still there, right through the window there. See that? And right opposite that was J. Skinner and the wagon shop. And kitty corner of that is a schoolhouse, which I have permission to detect as well. And that's right out here on that corner. So I'm going to head out here, cross over here, do a little early explorative detecting to see if I can find any iron patches where a building or a house or a structure used to be. Right out there, right out in that area, across the road is where the wagon shop and J. Skinner should be. So I'll let you know if I find anything. Where I stand now was a wagon shop, and back behind me was a house. The house that I talked about in the map at the beginning. So I'm coming along through the field, starting up here, working my way this way, trying to listen for like iron signals, concentrations, indicating there might be a kind of structure here. And I got my first okay signal, kind of a consistent 60. So I dig down and I get a piece of what looks like brass, and I brush it off and I see some writing on it, and I zoomed in with my camera so I could see it, and it says Sperry and Shaw, New York. And I did some quick research, and they made clocks, and it's a very old piece of a clock. So that indicates human habitation, and I think I'm on either the wagon shop or the home site here, so that's a good sign. So here's that piece. Starting to see evidence of glass and china here. Take a look at this. Lots of iron, like nails and all kinds of concentrated iron here. So I think I'm on the site. So I start scanning around here, see what I can find besides that clock piece. Check out this interesting piece of brass. This is some sort of entwined vegetation looking decorative thing. Top of a fence, or a decoration on a gate. Interesting. Sharp as heck too. Can you see that flat plateau there? It kind of goes up in a curve right in front of me, and then it flattens out right where that grass is kind of concentrated. It's like a plateau, and that's where I think the house was. There was a wagon shop too, but I don't know how much china and glass like I've been finding would be in a wagon shop, but it's possible. But definitely was a structure there, so that's where I'm going to concentrate. I had two permissions within a 5-minute drive from each other, so I didn't want to spend the whole day at the wagon shop, so I decided to head over to the other permission I had just down the road. This would be the Irwin and Drake Homesteads, which I'll talk about at the beginning of this next section. Okay, so I'm at another new permission here. I got a call from a landowner I'd written a letter to back in spring. It's interesting that the landowner I had written to had forwarded the letter to the new landowner, and she was nice enough to call me. Her and her husband own the property, and they sort of rented out to a farmer. But in the 1850s, according to this map, there were two homes out in this field owned by a R. Irwin and an M. Drake. And it's all farm field now. It's been harvested and it's not been plowed, but it's clear and flat. So I'm going to head out and do a little exploring. But I'll show you on the map where these houses were located and then oriented to where I am right now. So here is the old 1850s atlas of the area that I'm at. I'm going to orient this to how I'm parked. I'm parked right here. And out in this field, two homes, Irwin and Drake, are now farm fields, just past this telephone pole here in that clump of trees. Okay, so I'm going to head out and just start exploring, see if I can find any evidence, landscape, some raised mounds, any kind of surface finds, metal, iron patches. So we'll see how it goes. If I get anything decent, worth filming, I'll show you. Okay, I'm 5 minutes out into this field with Drake and Irwin homes. Getting a lot of iron right off the bat, and I got a very solid, clean 60 signal on that Garrett AT Pro both ways. And in farm fields like that, over the last year and a half, 2 years I've been doing this, that's a pretty good chance it's a button. So I got the plug out here, and I'm going to do a semi-live dig here. Let's see if we can extract what's in this hole here. Getting pretty good buzz there from the pinpointer, and I see something round. Looks like a coin, feels like a button. Let me clean this thing off and give you a better look at it. Well, sure seems like an old button. It's got a little design on it. Kind of crude and corroded, but see that little bit of design right there. So that's a very good sign on occupied land by 1850s or earlier homeowners. So, good start. The iron incrustation on this button I was able to pick through with some tools. I saw some letters coming through, and I was able to get down to the surface of the button to reveal the name Big Dixie. In doing research, I found out this was a button for a set of overalls, much like a farmer would wear, and it dates between 1870 and 1910. Surface fine, nice piece of crock. It's always a good sign. Okay, so I got a really clean, consistent 45. And again, something that low could be a button. Last button I got here just 10 minutes ago was a solid 60. But again, in these farm fields, different materials and sizes can give you different numbers. 45 in the Garrett AT Pro, solid both ways. I'm going to poke through this plug here I just dug out. Okay, I'm getting a strong signal right there. I see something round. You see that? Feels like a button. Let me clean this thing off. Well, it looks a lot like the other one I just found before this. It's got a raised pattern on it. Pretty crusted out though. But it's light. It almost feels hollow. Very corroded, but I don't know what else it could be besides a button. So I'll take it any day. Well, this was just below the surface, a couple inches, ringing a solid 45. Definitely old piece of brass. No clue what it was for, but it's decorative. So more evidence keeps mounting evidence of human occupation. Just talked to the landowner's brother, and he indicated this knoll here as the old home site, and it makes sense. I was kind of heading that way when he talked to me, and I told him I was heading towards that mound, and there's brick, pieces of china, glass, lots of nails, and I'm getting a lot of can slaw, and I get this nice solid 60 here. And again, I'm kind of used to that being button for the most part, hopefully. So I dug a little bit down here, and let me see if I can pinpoint it. There she is, the old flat button. Pretty old, thin. Shanks busted, but I'm going to guess that's between 1850 and 1860. I'm sorry, 1820 and 1850. There's the flat button. Shank gone, 1820s, 1860s. Nice find, right on the home site. Very solid tone. I'm going to go for a live dig here. Typical. The old pull tab. Alright. Reality sets in. Well, I just got 3 pull tabs in a row, bringing up to 60. So I didn't live dig this one. Look what I left out here. Shank intact. Let me clean her up. Shank intact. Has some writing on it. And I'll decipher that later. Well, that's a pretty solid 80 all the way around, clean. I'm gonna go for it. Okay, so it's right in this clump here. Let's see what we got. Here we go again. Clump of aluminum. Oh boy. Typical. Gotta dig it all, man. You really do. Well, I struggled for this one. This would have been a torture to watch, trying to live dig this. So I'll just show you what I found here. It's a nice old spoon bowl, part of the handle. Mid-1800s spoon. And it's going to stay crumpled like this because you try to straighten these things out, they crack and break, so that's going to have to be as good as it gets. Okay, nice, I like it. Okay, again, I'm doing 2 home sites here. The one over here, and that rise past the little clump of trees, and then the one that I'm standing at right now, 2 different homes. And the last thing I found over the other home site was a old spoon bowl. And see, at the end of the day here, I'm getting tired, and right by the car, I get another little spoon bowl, a very old one. So it's a good way at the end of the day. This site has a lot of potential, and I'll be back another day. And as you can see, it's being plowed right now, so if it gets all the way up here, I might have some cleaner ground because it's awful tough swimming through these stalks of soybeans. Well, here's a real quick wrap up here at the end of the day for today's hunt. The Skinner house with the wagon shop. Everything over here is all the junk I found, and these are some of the crock, china, glassware, brass decorative elements here, piece of pewter. This is a part of the old clock. And then the Irwin Drake field. 2 houses very close together. I'm just going to combine those into one. It's hard to separate the two, so I'm just going to call it one field of Irwin Drake. That's all for today's garbage right there. Glass, brick, piece of coal, chinaware, some sort of brass bracket, big old chisel of some sort, 3 cool square nails, or I think one's a tack, 4 buttons, decorative brass, 2 spoon bowls, and another decorative brass thing right there. So that's it for the day. Got about 5 hours in. First time at these fields, and I'd say there's a lot of potential for more. You know, once I start weeding through the iron and focusing on some specific areas. So nice way to end an October 14th day. New permissions.